Okay, here we are with another Weatherwool video. You'll see I have a Filson Jack shirt here. That's not for a direct source of comparison, but really I'm just going to talk about the performance of this fabric versus the performance of this fabric, because this is a hoodie in midweight. So it's lighter weight than the all-around jacket that I've already done a video on. And I'm also going to do a video for the anorak. And in that video, I'll probably be talking about how the anorak stacks up to the double mac, even though those two are not really the same thing. I just have a lot of experience with both of those. And I mean, they're both going to perform in similar environments. So in any case, to the hoodie, this is my most used jacket of any kind. It's midweight. I live in Seattle. And so our weather here is generally 35 to 50 in the winter and lots of wetness and raining and stuff like that. And the midweight over a t-shirt, a wool t-shirt or a cotton t-shirt, does a fantastic job of managing that. And I would say the same for the Filson, the lighter weight like jack shirts and stuff. They do a fantastic job. And this was my main jacket before I got the hoodie. And the hoodies have been sold out for a really, really long time because they're awesome. I mean, they're so awesome. And if you want one of the least expensive items Weatherwool makes to get their fabric, the hoodie's a great place to look. Anyway, so I'm 6'2.5". Really important to get that half in there, super important. And I'm 250 pounds, a little soggy in the midsection. That is going away though, so, you know, we'll see if I go another 5 or 6 years without making any more YouTube videos, but then I might look skinny again. Or maybe I'll have done the full cycle around. Anyway, yeah, so midweight, this one, the price is no different between the midweight and the full weight. I think this one was $425 or $450, but Weatherwool's pricing is changing because, I mean, the cost of manufacturing is just going up, period. So they don't believe in cutting corners, so they're not gonna like make their products lamer to keep the price the same or to lower it. They're just going to keep raising their prices because that's what they have to do to maintain their principles, really. Yeah. So really cool thing about this is these rib knit cuffs on the wrist, and the rib knitting, let's see if you can even see that down here, is 100% wool. And I believe it's also Rambouillet wool, just like their fabric. And they make some other products out of the knit, but they don't do a whole lot of stuff with the knit. They have a watch cap. I have one of those. And they have a neck gaiter. I have one of those too. Those are made out of the same material, but it is 100% wool. And I don't think anybody else makes 100% wool rib knit, at least not in the United States. So it's really good stuff, and it's super durable. You know, for hobbies, I work on cars, and I blacksmith, and I do like welding and metal fabrication, grinders, you know, all this stuff, sparks, hot stuff, cutting wheels, all that, right? I've welded in this, stupidly. I mean, why would you weld in this? Well, I was just being a numbnut and I forgot I was wearing it, and I just started MIG welding, and of course there's spatter up the arms, but I mean, on the camera, I doubt you could even see it because I can barely see it looking at it this close. The spatter marks, they didn't even make holes, which is kind of impressive. I mean, cotton this thick, I don't know that it would have held up that well. So I was actually really impressed and disappointed in myself for being such a moron, because I have plenty of beater clothes I can do that with. But yeah, there's the rib knitting. Like all Weatherwool products, we have the double zip. So, kind of a neat feature. We have a hood. Obviously, it's a hoodie. It's a good size hood. It's not super huge, but it's big enough to, you know, block some elements from the sides. And especially if you're wearing like any kind of a ball cap, you know, that always helps under a hood, at least in my experience. And then you have draw cords here, so you can cinch the hood down if you want, the little slides. Yeah, and this is a very simple garment here. The pockets are really nice. They have a slash entry. They're pretty big. They're not super huge, but I'm big enough for me to do my dad's stuff. Like if I'm taking my kid out to the park, I can put enough stuff in here to, you know, deal with toddler type things. And they zip up from the bottom. And what's neat about that is if you put your hand in and you want to seal out the elements and whatnot, just try and keep as much heat in there as possible, you can actually zip the zipper down and make the entry to the pocket smaller so you get more hot air in there. Lord knows I just need more hot air. Anyway, yeah, so that's cool. Same on this side, no different. And then the other thing is we have an interior pocket, just one, and it has a zip entry, and it's big enough to fit, you know, well, I can fit 2 iPhone minis in it. So probably 1 regular size iPhone, and you know, I put my headphones in there if I'm at work or what have you. Something else to note on these is just how good the workmanship is. I mean, the reinforcements along the edge of the zipper up here at the hood, I mean, it's just really well made. And that's what you ought to expect for what they're charging you. But it will meet those expectations and probably exceed them. And then my other experience with this, especially, I wear this a lot if I'm working. So as long as I'm not working with harsh chemicals or, you know, sparky things, obviously that doesn't always pan out, or greasy things. If I'm crawling around under a car, I'm just not going to wear my nice wool. It's not because the wool can't handle it. It's because why would I wear my nice wool when I can trash some cheap cotton, right? At least that's how I feel about it. But if I'm working outside in the yard or on the house and I'm doing things that are just dirty, not greasy, or, you know, gonna cause cutting or flame damage, I'm wearing this. I mean, this thing's with me all the time. And I'm 3 seasons out of the year. And even in the summer, in the mornings, when I go to work before the sun comes up, it's cold, man. Here, at least, oftentimes. And yeah, you'll see me in the hoodie. And it handles it, man. It handles wind really well. I haven't been in high wind with this. You know, I'd say like probably 5 to 10. I mean, 10 might be stretching it, but certainly 5-mile-an-hour winds, no problem. I ride my bike to work downhill in 40-degree weather in this, and it's fine. If it gets much below, maybe 40's pushing it, maybe it's more like 45, but if I get much below 45, I put on a Gore-Tex shell over the top. But and that's not for rain resistance, that's just for wind resistance. But as far as rain resistance goes, I've been in some pretty gnarly downpours, not for, you know, an hour, but for 15 to 30 minutes. No problem, man. I'm totally dry underneath, especially if I'm wearing a wool t-shirt underneath it, and I generally wear wool t-shirts. So, you know, today I'm wearing a cotton t-shirt, but if you're wearing wool under your wool, for some reason it just seems to work better. I don't really understand that, but, you know, there's science that could be done there, I suppose. Yeah, so rain performance is excellent from the Midweight, and you know, for active wear, this is fantastic because it still allows you to breathe while keeping you dry. Gore-Tex claims that. I mean, I think Gore-Tex is pretty cool, and I have one Gore-Tex shell, but I mean, I've done things like ride my bike and stuff with Gore-Tex, and I'm just sweating to death in it. It's never a problem with even the full weight Weatherwool. So anyway, looking at this, I mean, I can say a lot of the same things about this, just to less of an extreme. This will not block as much wind as this will, even though these wools are the same weight. This will not block out near as much rain as this will, even though these wools are roughly the same weight. And I mean, at this point, I've actually probably worn this one more than I've worn this one, because I've had this for several years. And I still wear it. This is actually my beater now. So if I want to work on a car and I want to wear wool, I take this off and put this one on. In fact, I think, so yeah, this is charcoal gray, so it might be hard to see, but I actually have some grease on this sleeve from doing an oil change on my buddy's car. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, and then to talk about this for just a moment, this is Filson's Seattle wool, not Seattle fit, Seattle wool. So the Seattle wool is different than the Mackinac wool in that it's softer. And it is noticeably softer. If you touch this and you touch the Mackinac, you will feel a difference. It's not a huge difference, but it's noticeable difference. And this is nowhere near as soft as this is. And that just has to do with the kind of sheep. My experience between them is, even though this is a little bit more coarse than this, well, I should say more than a little bit, it's pretty noticeably more coarse than this. The durability on the Weatherwool product is still there. I can't tell if there's a durability issue. You know, I mean, I've abraded in both of these. Again, I've probably had more abrasion in this one just because I've had it longer. No problem. They take it, and you know, same with this. Now, here's the deal. As I said earlier, I think these are somewhere in the $400 to $450 range. That could be changing with some of the things that are going on in the economy and with the textile industry and all that stuff. These ones are currently retailing for just under $300 from Filson, and that's both the Seattle wool and then the Mackinac wool jack shirts. Weatherwool does make a shirt jack. Okay, these guys call it a jack shirt. Weatherwool calls it a shirt jack. You can get it in a midweight, which is similar in thickness. It would be just like the hoodie, but in this shape, you know, with a collar and all that. Yeah, but I lost my train of thought. Get derailed easily. It's aging is not a fun thing. Anyway, something else that's different too is Filson uses cotton thread. You know, I mean, for somebody like me that's not doing a lot of hardcore outdoor activity, it probably doesn't really matter, I guess, but you will not find cotton in Weatherwool products. It's all military hydrophobic thread, and they don't put anything that absorbs water and will make you cold and clammy in any Weatherwool products. In fact, they've even, on some of their newer products or newer versions of their older products, they're even starting to replace some of the nylon material they were using for like pockets and stuff with their wool fabric. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if their wool fabric was just as or nearly as durable as some of the really tough nylon. It's amazing stuff. But yeah, so these retail for $300, and I bought this one for just over $100, brand new at the Filson outlet in Tulalip. So if you're a smart shopper, you can find these for great prices. I mean, $100 for a really good wool jacket, man, that's tough to beat, right? And you know, if you want to try and find a good deal on a Weatherwool product, check out their specials page at weatherwool.com. And I've given the spiel about how Weatherwool's all-American and stuff in my all-around jacket video, so you can check that out if you want to know more, or check out the Weatherwool website if you want to know more. Anyway, that's the hoodie. Hopefully that's a good enough look at it. And oh, something else that's nice about the hoodie too, if you want to stay warm, the hoodie will actually keep you warmer than other similar products, say jack shirts, even Weatherwool's jack shirt, because it has cuffs. And so these rib knit cuffs seal against your wrists, and then these ones down here seal against your body. And so it just holds the air inside of the jacket. And you don't get drafts in and out. So if that's a concern, if you want something that's smaller, a little bit less expensive, but is still going to keep you super warm, the hoodie is an excellent, you know, I mean, I call it a bargain really, because you're getting probably the best wool fabric ever made, you know, at their lowest price. So, you know, the hoodie's awesome. And, you know, a full weight hoodie, I mean, God, you could probably wear that thing down well under 30, you know, maybe even under 20 and be real warm in it. I wear this one personally down to about 40 degrees with no layering underneath it. And I'm just like toasty, and, you know, the world's great. And that's with no gloves, because it's probably about 40, 42 in this garage right now. Might be a little warmer. Anyway, enjoy.